Alright, good morning. I am Wallaber and I am working on my game Pro Gymnast, as I have been. Been streaming now the final development of the game here for coming up on like 2 months or so. Trying to get about an hour of work done on this game every day. Yesterday, we were making good progress on the trajectory preview effect. So when you slow down time and you're trying to figure out how you're going to release the bar, we're making this new effect for that. Here we go. Come on. Load up. And where we left it yesterday is that I have my little shader drawing these sort of like chevron shapes. That looks pretty nice. But it's not playing nice with the depth of field, as you can see, where it's punching a hole in the depth for the whole quad, not just the chevron. And looking into that, it looks like it's related to the way this material is set up. So let's look at it. So my understanding of this now is that basically when Unity creates a buffer for the depth of the scene to use for the depth of field effect, it's rendering with a replacement shader, and the replacement shader has a specific light mode tag, and since my shader here doesn't have that tag, it won't use this shader that I created to clip out my chevrons, and instead we'll fall back to this diffuse one, which is just going to draw the whole quad. And so I believe that I just have to go like this and make myself another variant of this shader. In theory, I could make this cheaper or simpler in terms of its complexity, but I just really need to get here to this clip statement. And I want this to be let's see, let's go look this up. It was something like light mode shadowcaster. Yeah, so I think the tag needs to be light mode equals shadowcaster. So we're going to test that by going back here. And then our second one here, we're going to set that to be our tag. Okay. And let's see if that makes any difference. I was doing a little bit of Googling on this importing iteration 2 thing that's popping up now every time I touch a shader. And I have not made any real headway on figuring out if there's a way to speed that up or not. Let's see, did this compile? I assume it did. Okay, let's find out if this made any difference or not. Yes, look at that. So that's what we wanted to see. Now we've got that rendering in the scene depth at the right position. It looks like my chevrons are actually casting shadows, which I probably don't want, so I can turn that off. But they are rendering properly into the depth buffer. So now all we really got to do is tweak the visual appearance of this a little bit. That's good news. So let's see. Now what we want to do is up here in our main one, we want to give ourselves some support here for how we want to draw this. Do I want this thing just to be a solid color? I could do like a solid color and some like dithering if I wanted transparency on it. Or I wonder even if I can, well, I guess we want to at least have a main color. right? Okay. And we actually want to just return for now the color. Because I want to just try what it would look like if these are just solid, like yellow arrows. And then the thing that we do that's a little more interesting is change the thickness and size of them. Okay. And I was thinking this might be an excuse for me to use, whoops, a material property block. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, what this would do is it would be in an attempt to reduce draw calls slightly by making sure that each chevron, they can be batched together into one draw call. So you add a thing called per rendered data. Okay, we could try this. So what we're thinking here then is that the thickness would be a per render thing. That's the one that I think I want to change over distance. Let's see, so if I just do that, let's look at the shader. Is it okay with that? And I believe that parameter I just added there will mean that when I go to my material now, yeah, thickness is not something I can set here anymore because it's going to be set through code. So that's cool. So what we're going to do then is we're going to go to scripts. I don't know. Gameplay effects. Maybe it's in here. Would be the place. Well, where do I have my trajectory preview script? Just put it wherever this is. Okay, in with the Gymnast. So what we could do is say we want to create a new script called trajectory preview chevron. This is going to be on each individual piece. And this is going to reference this code I was looking at here for how you do a material block, because we're going to have let me look at this. So you need the renderer and the material block. Okay. Now the way I want to do this, I think, is I want to do like that. So we'll serialize that out. This is just something we're gonna create. Yeah, we're gonna make a new one of those in awake. Okay. Or in start, whatever. And let's see. Okay, and then here's the basic API for this. So then we're not going to do this in update. We're going to do this in a function called public void set thickness. Okay. And then it does something like this. I wonder, do I have to call get every time? I think you do to get the latest. So that's going to get our thing. Then we're going to set the thickness, which is not a color. It's a float. And we're going to just set that to the variable passed in and apply it, right? Okay. That might be about it. And then we can do grab this And we're no longer going to be looking for a list of transforms. We're going to be looking for a list of trajectory preview chevrons. Oh, this is gross. I now have a class called chevron trajectory preview and a class called trajectory preview chevron. Ugh. I'm just going to sit with that for a second. Maybe that's pretty dumb. Now these are going to need a dot transform now, where we do the positioning. Okay. And then we're going to also want something related to thickness. So we'll do private float base thickness. Some number, 0.2 or something. And then we'll have another curve here, private animation curve thickness factor over distance. Okay. And then I think we'll also have a thing that's just called like private float global distance factor. Or offset. Think about how, this is what I was thinking about, how I make this things gracefully disappear. Do I want them all to scale down in unison, or do I want them to like sort of shoom 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 shoom? Problem is, if I do the shoom 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 shoom, it would be actually, we're not going to do it this way. We'll do it in a coroutine or something. Alright, let's get this basic thing working. So then what we should be doing here is set the thickness, right? And we would be like, hey, get the current chevron. I probably should be like grabbing this at the top of this loop and just referencing the, like pulling it out of the array once and then just talking to the temporary variable, but whatever. So chevron's current chevron dot set thickness. And this is going to be I guess I could calculate it like right here. I'd be like chevron thickness equals base thickness times thickness factor over distance dot evaluate chevron I. Okay, we're gonna do something similar down here. So this is gonna be just setting this to the thickness, and then down here when I move on to the next one, I need to calculate this again. Okay. Now, we go back here. There's this weird darkness in the scene view here. Don't know. Okay. Now we can go look at our save. Come on, save. Okay, now we can go look at our individual prefab, which is one of these. We can put this script on here. Okay, give it a reference to the renderer, and that renderer has that, and let's set the color while we're at it here. So I think we want this to be like a bright yellow. Okay. Oh, and while we're here, we're going to not receive shadows, and we're going to not cast shadows. Right? I think so. I think we want this to be a little less in the world. Alright. Okay. Oh, whoops. Before I do that, let's go look here and see what we need to set a curve for this. Right now, the thickness, I think, is 0.2. And so we want them to get thinner over the course of the thing here. So we would be like, okay, this is gonna go down to, I don't know, a factor of 0.2, let's say. And in kind of a fall off like that. Okay, and now we can run this and maybe try and tweak the rest of these values to get to something closer to final. Alright, so oh, we're null reffing. What did I do? Oh, right. So my main guy here used to be a list of transforms, and now it's a list of this new script I created. So I gotta hook these back up. This is still pretty dumb. Like, I probably should just do like a find in children instead of manually preparing this list. Okay, alright. Now let's see what we got. Okay, so they're drawing, and they're thinning out over the length of this thing. That's cool. It's working. Now I want them to be more, I think, bunched up at the ends. But I think I might actually want more of them now. So this is where what I was just talking about would be easier. So let's do it. Let's go change this, and we're gonna not actually set that in the inspector. We're just going to find them right here. Okay, now I should be able to come back here. What did I do? Oh, not minus, equals, please. Okay, so now once this is gone, here we go. I'll be able to make as many of these as I want. Okay, and then I think in general, we're gonna say that we want them like kind of distributed like this, where they start to like clump together at the end. Something like that. And then the size of them, so I want them to actually get a little bigger. How much bigger though? Let's see. What if they were like 1.25 at a 1? And this one we might want to be fairly linear. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see how that looks. Okay, and then they're going to get thinner over the distance. Okay, and well, we'll keep that at 8 for now. All right, so let's turn off maximize. Make this a little bigger. Okay, and let's try to tune these parameters a little bit. Okay. Okay, see, that's starting to look pretty cool. They're getting thicker as they go, kind of communicating that this trajectory is just a general trajectory. I let go right when they're pointing up, and I go generally up. Looks like I probably might want to have a look at the actual like particle simulation here. Like what trajectory am I producing? Looks pretty cool though. Do I need more in the early part of the curve so you can kind of see it a little better? Maybe I should try a few other levels. Yeah, so maybe what we want then is we want this over a slightly shorter distance. Okay. Yeah, so let's look at it. It's right here. We could, for example, say let's do this over 7 units. And we could start it a little bit closer to the gymnast. And maybe start out a little more flat before it kind of widens out. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong button. Okay, so yeah, that's a little better. Now we've got more than one. We have kind of like more information up close, like that. I think they could maybe be a little thinner to begin with. Like, what if they were like 0.15? And like, this will probably be overdone, right? The one thing I'm not touching here that I could mess with is the slope of it, which is just on the material, but I don't know if I can touch this and change it, can I? Yeah, let's see. Go like that. Oops. Keep holding the controller upside down here. Okay. Okay, yeah, I can change that. Look at that. Okay, so maybe that's more kind of like the amount of slope. Let's look at this as a quad here, please. Thank you. You know, like this is like... Okay, yeah, that's getting somewhere. Okay, let's go back to here, and let's say, what if we really scrunch them together and say we only want it over like 5 units of distance? Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. It looks like I might want to do some smoothing in the rotation. They do pop a little bit. Ooh, what's happening there at the edge? The one at the very edge is like constantly freaking out about its position. to look at that. Something wrong with the end of the loop then. Oh. Okay. This would be nice if I could make these semi-transparent. So maybe let's look into that real quick. I'm pretty happy with the start of these values. So we're gonna copy the changes we made here. We're gonna go to here. Let's put this back. And paste in those changes. Okay, and then let's look at material here. Here. Like, I wonder if we can say we drop it a little bit later, and then we could say blend and actually get some blending here. Let's try that real quick. I mean, I guess it might look weird to have something that's semi-translucent, but also like in focus from a depth of field point of view. But based on this now, if I change this to like a little bit less opaque, we should see that work. Let's find a level like this. This one's got reason to see the trajectory preview. Okay, is it just not drawing at all now? Oh, right, you have to be, okay, there, see? So we've got some translucency. It looks a little weird. Probably because of the layer I'm on. I think when you're over the, looks like when you're over the ocean, things get a little funky. Let's see. Let's try a different one. Try like ballistics. This is a simple one where we can just watch the trajectory a whole bunch. Okay, yeah, see, look at that. We're blending with like an unlit version of the trees or something. And there's like no, and the background is screwed up. Okay, we set this to transparent. Oh, this is setting it per pass. Now if we crank this all the way back up, it'll be okay. No, even that's a problem because we're not writing to the depth buffer, so those pixels are getting overwritten probably. It's not gonna work though. Okay, so let's not do that. So my options are leave it opaque or add some like dithering to it. I don't know, I mean the opaque looks pretty cool actually. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, so let's just try and clean up the remaining junk. And I wonder, I mean I could put some kind of, I could make it more than just a solid color. if I wanted to. But first of all, let's go here. So why? Right. No, let's think about this. What happens when we get to the last one? Like right here, we go... Yeah, we shouldn't exit out of this loop until we've placed the last one. So we're coming through here, we're on the let's say we're on the second to last one. We passed its distance. Then we're like, cool, let's go to the one that will be the last one. We calculate its distance. When we move along here, we keep appending running distance until we pass it. So it could just be the thing I was saying, where if this curve gets too flat, right here, it doesn't look that flat though. That doesn't look... That doesn't make sense. I wonder if it's just that they're close enough to each other that they should have happened in the same loop. That's probably what it is. Right. Yeah, especially down there at the end when the amount that the particle is moving is big. Okay. Okay, so wait a minute. So what would happen there is the problem is this loop is structured in a way where it assumes you're only ever going to fit one chevron in between 2 points. If I change this to a while, that should help. But then what we got to do is here, if current chevron is greater than or equal to chevron count, we got to break out of this loop. Okay. Alright, I think in theory that was the problem. Makes sense. Now, one thing I could look at real quick is what do we call this? We're just passing in directly the current center of mass and its velocity. Yeah. Which is sort of like a weighted, not even weighted, but an average. Oh, that's interesting. This really should be a weighted average. And the weight should be the mass of each body part, probably. But the thing I've sort of noticed with it is it's a little, sometimes it underrepresents the upcoming change in velocity. Which is, I mean, it makes sense. It's hard for it to know that. We could dampen it a little less. I don't know. Let's see how this looks. Like when you're swinging around a bar, the velocity is changing pretty rapidly, and so it's only showing you the current one. So when you let go, you're always going to go a little bit farther in the, outside of what it's showing you, I guess what I'm trying to say. And I'm not quite sure the best way to compensate for that, other than to be like looking at the change in velocity and looking at the future a little bit. Okay, let's look in the scene view here. Okay, now that last one is being placed well. So that looks good. Okay. It's cool. I like the look of it. I think it looks cool. You get a pretty good sense of where you're going to go. Like right there should take us up pretty high on the mat. It does. In fact, like I was saying, you go a little higher than you're seeing there because this thing is a little bit behind the times. Just the tiniest bit. I'd have to think if I was going to bias it in some way to try and accommodate that, what would I do? Alright, let's add in a real quick fade out for this thing. So what's this? And I think what we want to do is say, anytime you call update on this, we don't want to run any coroutines because down here, we're going to start a coroutine, which is just going to be the fade sequence. Okay, and what this is going to do is we're just going to thin these out over time. So it'd be something like something like this, and then we're gonna say that, and what we want to do is we want to loop over all of our chevrons. I wonder if these, now that I'm calling get, are they going to be in order? Well, I guess, yeah. I'm looping over them here and in order, so I guess they are kind of they've been placed in order, so that should be fine. So this would be like something like we want to calculate now the float thickness offset, which is going to be, I want to delay this slightly over time, right? It'd be something like, let's do this, float. Chevron I is float I divided by float chevrons dot length minus 1. Okay. So it should be something like, okay, the first one's going to start, the other ones we want to start later. So this would be like, let's say we wanted to say take a second to ripple across, then we would just use elapsed here. Let's say we want to take half a second. Okay, so order offset is a number that goes from, actually, let's do clamp 0 to 1. So this is a number that's going to go from 0 to 1, and the first one will immediately go from 0 to 1, the next one a little bit later will go from 0 to 1, a little bit later, a little bit later. Okay, so we just do that. And then how fast should they thin out? Well, it should be like, let's just say, thickness, what is it? How do we know the current thickness? Let's store it over here. Okay, so when you store it, you can do that, and then we can just add a okay, so that we can ask them down here. We don't have to be too smart. Oh wait, well we want to know their like original thickness, right? So let's do this. Okay. Let's go get that information. Okay. So this should be something like we want to take the original thickness and we want to subtract some value. Or if we want this to actually be something like this. Yeah, so now we could say float new thickness equals original thickness of I times this. Okay. And then we need to yield return null, and I guess if I is equal to chevrons.length minus 1, so we're on the last guy, and we say if new thickness equals 0.0f, we can break out of this. Oh, not out of this though. We want to get out of this whole thing, don't we? So we can be like bool is done equals false. No, it's got to be yeah. Is done equals false. So we set that right here. This is on a per iteration. So if we make it out to here and we say not here, and we say if is done. If we break out and we're done with this coroutine. Okay. What did I screw up there? It's all compiling. Okay. Alright, so what we should see now is, whoops, is we've got our trajectory. We let go. And nothing's happening. Alright, so what's wrong with our fade routine here? This is not going to be something I should step through. I think I need to just actually do something like this. Well, let's do this. Let's just get super verbose with the debug log here to figure out what I did wrong. All right. Okay, so here we are. Let's go back in time. So we're like early in the thing here. We're at 0.15 seconds, right? And let's go here. Yeah, so then this one's like the this one should be 0.1 into its like fade out or whatever. Right, let's see. So we're saying we were at 0.15 seconds. We were on number 0. Their chevron I is also a 0. That's correct. And then the order offset should start out as... Oh. Yeah, this should be roughly 1. It is. Okay, now let's go forward in time. Okay, we're at 0.2 here. When this is at 0.2, this is a 0. Oh, right, chevron I is always a 0. So this is always just going to stay 0. Right. Right. Okay, so... what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to take this and I'm trying to delay that signal appearing. So I've got this wrong. This needs to be like this. Yeah, maybe that was it. Okay. Okay, there we go. See? They're all disappearing in a nice little way. And let's see, did our coroutine stop? It did. Okay, so now the only thing is, if I wanted to control some of this better, I mean, really, I think I just want to make this whole thing go faster. This is probably a number I should... Let's see, this would be the rate... This would be the rate that they fade out. It's taking half a second to fade out right now. And then by boosting this number, I could change how long it takes to get through all of them. So let's just say we're going to make it fade out faster. And then if I for example, do this, oops, I believe it's going to ripple through faster as well. Okay, let's test it. This kind of, this is pushing up against my ability to mentally picture what's going on there. I'd probably have to start drawing a graph if I get any more fancy than this. Okay, so here's our preview, right? That's cool. Let's watch it at faster pace. So we go like this. Yeah, I like that. That looks nice. That looks pretty cool. Now we should be able to see what I was talking about, where it's maybe slightly inaccurate sometimes. So let's get going around the bar like this. Right, and I want to jump up and I want to get right back on the bar. That says I will, but see, I've got a little more momentum to the left than it was showing me. That. Yeah. I have to think about if there's a way I can really, truly do that. Doesn't quite match. It's very helpful for jumping to something, you know, or things that are a little less in need of perfect accuracy. Like you gotta learn to anticipate it a little bit. I gotta think about if there's something I can do about that. And I guess if you're hanging onto a bar, we know hanging onto the bar. Somehow take that into account. Yeah. Alright. I'm happy with this improvement though. I like the way it looks. And I got the behavior pretty cool. Alright. So let's finish off today with a quick, let's like look at least one level, right? Let's go like this. Level data, load level. I was gonna look at just through. Trying to work my way through a few levels each time here, you know. But my hour a day is goes by very quickly. So this level is on a timer. No, it's not on a timer. When you're holding onto this bar, the door is open. When you let go of the bar, the door closes. Which means if you don't get through here fast enough, you get stuck. This is a pretty simple level. You just need to flip through like that. There's some scenarios here like that where you can get caught against the bar if you're not. Kind of have to control your body how you get through it. Ugh. Okay. Now, so what's a reasonable time for doing this level fast? I feel like it's probably come around once and through. Come around once and nope, that was bad. Come around once through. What was that? 3.68 seconds. Okay, what if we say we'll give you 2 swings? Oh, 2 swings is bad timing for the rope, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Okay. Oh, jeez, okay. So if we're gonna say you gotta get there by the second swing back of the rope, be like you build up some swing like this, and then right now, through. That was 8. I mean, first swing is pretty cool though. You gotta come around like this. You gotta get through like that. So anything under like 6 seconds is like first swing of the rope. Boom. Okay, why not make this one kind of a... Look at that, I had it at 6 seconds. I must have already looked at that. Okay, where is the chalk? Chalk is up here. It's a little bit out of view. You have to like go out like this to see it. And then you're gonna have to do a release move here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's pretty much the only place to put it in this level, I think. Could put it maybe a tiny bit lower, so it's a little bit easier. Oh, sad. Okay, yeah, we could maybe drop it down like 1. Okay. Catch it. Oh, ouch. And... oh, my trajectory preview slightly betrayed me there. Ooh, can we get to the rope on this iteration? No. No, no, no. Wait, wait. Get it? Oh, wait. Get it? No. No. Oh, no, no, no. I'm going the wrong way. I want to be over there. Let's see. Huh. 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 There we go. Get up. Ready. Slow down. Get your hands up there. Get it. 53 seconds. Alright, so we're happy with the chalk. What about score? It's gonna be pretty hard to flip through here, right? Like... you could do it. Oh, man. Maybe not. Oh, 4,000 points. But then again, right, you could just, you know, do a release move, get a couple thousand points. I mean, in theory, right, you can just sit here and do that over and over again, although obviously it's risky. Ah. There you go, you get your couple thousand points, then you just get yourself through. No. 7,000. This is kind of a tricky one. 2,000 if you just get a backflip out of it. Okay. So what I have this set at? 1,000. I'll set it slightly higher. Save that. Mark it as green. Okay. Alright. Not bad. I think we got the trajectory preview looking pretty good, and we were able to at least get in and edit one level. Wait. I wanted to just comment out my debug log here. Okay. Alright, so tomorrow I'm gonna have to double check my task list and see what I want to work on tomorrow. Whoops. I do need to clean up the hair on the avatars. It looks kind of weird. Could work on the clothing options, but I need to double check my task list, and I will find a few things to do tomorrow. Maybe we get a few more levels edited as well. We'll pick this up again tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.